Hello everyone, welcome to another Disney Infinity tutorial. Now, what a May the 4th event it was a couple of weeks ago, where a number of creators created some fantastic toy boxes. And can I just say, this community is absolutely brilliant. You won't find the nicest group of people of all ages in. I say absolutely brilliant. So, I promised after my event that I would be doing a tutorial on how I create these satellites. And as you can see here, this was the satellite effect that I created for my Operation Cinder level. Now, a lot of you gave me a couple of feedbacks from my dish and I didn't get it to the way I wanted it to go. So I've taken on your feedback, and I've got two clips coming, and both are showing you how to create these satellite dishes. So we're going to show you how to do this one, but I'm not going to show you how to do this one today. And you're going to go, what? That's right, we're not doing this one today because I'm going to show you the different feedback that I've had. And by the way, I have cracked it. Yeah, I have the ultimate tornado, okay, which we're going to show you, but that comes in my second clip. But I'm going to have to show you how we get there. So there are a number of stages in this, and you'll notice I've created 4 satellites. So this was the one that I created in my Operation Cinder, which I didn't think was bad. It picks you up, it throws you about. I was quite pleased with it. I was rushing for time, and the things that I wanted didn't work, so I was trying to find compromises. But I've had time to rethink about this, and look what you guys done. And this is one of my other variations. There's some of you said don't use blocks, use just the lightning. And as the lightning flashes, I've got this like pulse coming down. And I just think that looks really cool. So I thought, hold on, that actually isn't too bad. So then I thought, well, hold on, why don't we just mix it up? So I kept it up in the empty. So from what you guys suggested, I've then gone and made the mega satellite. So you'll see here, we've got the pulses coming down. Yeah, and what I'm going to do in this clip is I'm actually going to show you how to create this this laser beam and the satellite dish. In my following up clip, which is already, by the way, been recorded and I know works, which is going to follow in about 7 days' time, I'm going to show you how to create my original one and then how we join them together to create the mega tornado, because it is so cool. Now, I like this effect. I think this is pretty awesome. Yeah. And again, taking your feedback, so I'm using a pulse coming down the screen. So I'm going to show you how to create that travelling effect, which I've done before once on a laser cannon scene. Yeah, but they're the 2 links that we've done. Yeah. Then what I'm going to show you in the following clip, just to give you a little bit of a tease. Yeah. So if I jump down, is we're going to go into the other one and show where we're going to merge those together. Yeah. So what we do is we come here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that clip that looks really good, take my existing one that worked, but it will do, right? So let's just move across. As in me posing, because I've done the little clip for the screen. Because I think that one wasn't bad, and in my level it looks really good. And by the way, we're going to get a whole remastered version of my Operation Cinder. But what I'm going to show you here is just a little tease of what's happening on. This is them both combined. Okay. Which is not looking bad. Get a bit more action, but the other one, by the way, is going to blow your socks off. It's absolutely brilliant. So this is what I'm planning to go through, and I'm going to go through how we build satellite dishes, how I build the parts, how I get the connections done, and then you can incorporate them into your own level. Now you'll see here I've just used the Hulk power disc to give me all the actual broken buildings down. Yeah. But you could do a platform where you've got platforms and these cut across your platforms, knocking you on and off. You don't have to use it for a city. You can use these type of things. I think I did one called an alien entity. You could do something like this, a beam shooting back and forth. But I quite like the combined version. Yeah, and then you got the options. I'm just the right height there where I don't get thrown across. So again, we can take this to the whole another level. But this is what we're going to be building through. Like I say, there's a number of stages clips, so the rest of this clip is all going to be showing you how to do it. Yeah, and then the next clip that follows in a week's time, I'm going to show you how to do the mega tornado. And I tell you, that is definitely watch out for. So I'm going to release that in 7 days. All I've got to do now is the voiceover. But I'll show you through all the logic on the set, and it's really quite simple. There's nothing too complicated, and you get this created, and it does work. And then obviously I'll do a remastered version, but I think I've got 3 or 4 clips coming out in the next few weeks. So let's go back and let's review how this was all put together. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is build the satellite. We need to set that because that's the marking point where we place our length of beams and everything else. So I've grabbed basically some just basic blocks. And these on the screen here now are all the blocks that we need to build the satellite. And I'm going to go through each one of these. So you'll see here you've got a small floor tile, and then you've got these little triangle sloping options that we've got. We've got half semicircle one, and I'll go through the color formats as well. But we're going to attach all these to a path, onto one path, and then we'll get them into the shape that we want. Now, it was a crude design. It was trying to be simplistic. I mean, you can go to town on these, but obviously the more shapes you have, the more stuff you've got put together. So again, I thought the overall effect looked quite good, so I'm quite happy with the design. I tried to even make the shape a bit more cylinder around the side. It didn't seem to work. So again, don't overdo things, don't overcomplicate things, because you've got to map it all out and pull these items together. I definitely feel they look like satellites, so therefore it achieved its job. Yeah, and I use these echo base tiles, so I coloured all these ones. So there's 3 in, you need 4 sets. Yeah. Then I've got this lovely tower here, and I played around with different colours, so you can choose which one that works for you. There is a crystal colour, so I was looking at just a plain blue one. So look, blue. I want it to look like a glass, some sort of like thing that was a light anyway. So I tried different things. There's a frozen one as well, so different light blue ones that we did. Which one do I settle through? That was the metal one. That looked a bit too dark. So again, I think the one I settled through was the crystal one. Was it this crystal one? No, it wasn't that one. So again, different colours you can pick. You'll see I'm just showing you ones. And again, you choose the colours that fit in with yourself. Where was the crystal? In fact, it wasn't the crystal one, because the crystal one was in 2 blocky. I think I chose the frozen one. That was it. The frozen one had that extra glass. That's the one I liked. So I picked the frozen option. So we'll have that. Yeah. And then, so we use the steel for the cup, and then for this one I used a darker colour because I wanted the blue to stand out. So I think I used not the black one. I used it wasn't that group. Hold on, which one was it? Let's find it. It was, as we go through this list, yeah, I used the steel option, which depending on your backdrop can be different various colours. Yeah, I just changed those colours on there. Now again, I'm just showing you basically how I put this together. Very simple, very quick item. Now, just another little tip on here is obviously the path tool. Now, because of the height of the satellite, you can't link everything to the one path. So we're going to need a couple of paths on here because the beams are so long and you've only got so much distance to it. So I need to have 2 paths set up. But at this present moment, I'm not too sure what path is the one that I'm wanting. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to get a simple block because I'm going to measure out the place that I want. So I'm going to go basically, I want 3. My beams are going to be 3 lengths tall. Yeah. Now to get rid of the lines, I'm going to merge them so they drop down slightly, and then I'm going to have my laser beam, which again is not 100% exact, but I'll put that on the screen. So that now lets me know the height that I require for my path to be. Yeah. So again, using that as my template. So I now need to go back to my Creativity Toys and get my path tool out, which I have to say is the favourite tool that I love using. So we'll get my little path tool. I've got too fast. Done what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Get the path tool here, and then we choose where do we want the thing to start. So we want it to start bang on that dot there. And again, we're moving it around, so we're going to set it across. Now, what you can do now, and this is something I'm getting used to doing as well, is you want to create your path because you want to know where it's going to go, but you haven't finished building the objects yet. So I'm going to do a short little mini path. Yeah. Don't worry about that, and the reason for that is I wanted to set, I go back to it and I can extend it afterwards once I've created the objects, but I can create all the logic now. So you do a short mini path, get your logic all done, and then you do the path afterwards. Otherwise it gets all in the way. So sometimes short paths works quite handy, so we'll show you how that works. So as you'll notice there, I went to the properties of the path and I switched it off. Yeah. And now what I'm going to do with all these objects, I'm going to attach this to the path. So, and we've got to do it in the shape that I've roughly lined out. Yeah. So we're going to toy box path. We're going to go to the properties of it. Yeah. And what we're going to do here is we're going to then basically on this option, we're going to say, right, can we make sure it has to go along the path? Has to, otherwise it looks naff. We're going to move this horizontally, forward and backwards, but you want to go at least 4. Yeah. And the other thing you need to do is you need to rotate it. So we rotate that round, so you get that 4 shape. Right, and you're going to do that for each one. So go back to the next one, grab it, and obviously you're going to move that further back. And you'll see here as I build this. And I thought I could speed this through, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to show you how I build it. So just to recap, a very simple satellite dish. But again, it's more just showing you different things connected to multiple parts, how you can create a shape. And you'll see here I created a whole new level just to explain how I did it, because at the moment I'm finding my technique now is build the level and then I'll do little elements to it, because everything that we create is its own little trigger, and then all you do is join the paths to when they've done. So if you look at my Operation Cinder level, what you'll notice there is I've got the Star Destroyer landing, then I have the troops coming out, then I have the beams coming across. So they're all individual set things that triggered off at different stages. You don't want them all running at the same time, because the memory of Disney Infinity won't do it. So you phase it through on when you do certain objects on there. Right, so I've now done that set, and I'm now going to do this one, and this one's going to go forward. Now, if you're going to do a mini path, by the way, make sure it is longer than the actual 3 discs. Otherwise, you can't grab the item properly. So just be aware of that. So in this case here, we're going to go forward now. We're going to go forward on there. It's on. That's all set, and because it's along the path, it's already done on that screen. And it's quite quick and easy to build, so there's no trouble on that side. And we just drag these across. And again, keep going. Now, the reason why I'm doing these ones first and not the other ones is because they always go to the center piece. So you want to do the ones around the outside first, leaving that center piece open so things don't get in the way. So there is a special order you do them in, and you definitely do the arms first. Otherwise, you'll be selecting the wrong piece. So you'll notice every time I'm doing it, I'm leaving that center piece free. So when I put the next one, it always goes onto the center. I can select it easy. So there is a process of which ones that I pick, but you'll notice I'm always leaving that center, moving the center one away, getting it away from the screen, and then I move that across. Oops, and I move that the other way. So that's good. Now when I do the back one, I'm going to do the negative option, so it goes 4, 8, and 12. All right, we'll do this one. Your path connection. And we just keep spacing those out like so. So I've just speeded this up slightly because I'll just do the last one. Now obviously the side ones here, you have to rotate them, so don't forget to do those. So you should have like a star shape looking like this. Again, making sure if you don't pick that option, by the way, it will throw your shape all out altogether. And then rotate it, and then you got to choose the option to rotate it round, otherwise it won't match up. And there you go. So there is the aerials on the screen. Right. So now we grab these little 4 boxes, and again we want to just push them out so they're not. So there's a gap in the middle. So I'm going to connect these to the tool. And again, what we'll do with these ones, we're going to move these back. So I'm going to move them back. So go to properties, put it along the path. Right. So the first one, there's nothing happening, fits perfectly. Then we move it across the path. So I'm just going to bring it down and then move it backwards. So let's go horizontal and move it 2. So you want at least those 2 gaps, yeah? It wants to be 2, not 4 in this case, because it wants to still be around that square. Okay, and now you do the other opposite on the other side. So let's just do this. So you're going to grab this one, and you're going to move this around over here, put it on the path. Again, now this time we're going to have to rotate it around slightly. So we'll click onto that. Again, don't just because the shape goes on there, don't fit it onto that side. What you need to do is make sure you fit it to the path, because otherwise when it follows it, it'll stay its route. So we're going to rotate that one round. We're going to move it back slightly, so down, and I've got to move it back, so I've got to go backwards, so down. Where's the other angle? There you go. So it sticks out by 2. I'll do the same for all these, so you'll see all these done. So stick it to the path, go down. Sometimes it doesn't pick it up. And obviously, just to keep reminding you, keep saving as you're building. Once you're happy with something, save it. Don't do too many things, it does crash. Right, I'm rotating that all the way around, you'll see that this time. There we go, there's that one. And then we get the last one to do. It's looking good. And again, the actual path here is the sequence you do it in, so none of them always get in the way. So look at that, nice and easy to select, which is great. Turn that round, that goes all the way around this time, so we twist that all the way around. Okay, and this is your satellite built. Yeah, and then we do your vertical height down to the bottom. Brilliant. Move it back. Oops. All the way, there you go. Sorted. And again, depending on how you position that, is where your path sits. Which is so far so good. Then I'm going to grab the top of it. That's just going to sit exactly on top, so that's no problems on there. You very rarely see that unless you're flying across it, because you could use these as the platform bridge because you walk across it. You'll see here I forgot, I was put that on the screen, I'll put that in there, type box path. Right, now I should have changed the pathing for that circle to move it, otherwise the disc will turn round. Now what we're going to do with this diamond is we're now going to move it down, but we're going to do it like a stake. So it sticks through the top, so actually it comes all the way up and then leaves like a top to it, which looks quite good. And then that will give us the more pointy bit towards the bottom there. And you'll see here I forgot to do that. This bit here I forgot to do that, which makes it tricky. I've got to make sure that to follow along the path. And there we go. That is our little satellite, and that's what my little satellite looked like. Very simple, nice and easy. Little beam pointing down and at the right height. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm now going to extend the path. Yeah. So what you can do here is when I click onto the path, if you press the little triangle on the PlayStation anyway, you can actually add an additional route. So you'll see here I'm just going to add a point to here, and you'll see I can now continue the path onwards. Yeah. And now what I'm going to do is just going to create a circular loop where I want this path to go. Now you could do this after you built the object so you can see where your things are on the screen, but again it's got to stay flat. You don't want it going up and down, it's going to stay level, so making sure my thing stays level on the screen. And making sure it goes through the rubble. Yeah. So it's going to cross the make sure it's going across the path. A weird type of blob type route. And then we'll bring that to there, and that's it, sorted. Okay, I'll come out of that. So that is my route. Okay, now this is the bit I had trouble with, because what I need to do now is when we do that laser beam, it's too high, and sometimes when they're too high, you can't put them on the same path. You haven't got enough option. So I'm just going to tie this up so some of the routes is, but I'm going to go to the route and I'm going to make sure that that is a looped path. So if I go to this option. And again, you can change the speed of this, but I think 100 was about a good enough speed on there. So I go to properties. Now, if you do change the speed, you have to either change the speed of everything, yeah, which is a nightmare, but we're going to make sure it's looped, yeah. So now has got our looped effect, which comes through on the screen. Now, what I need to do now is I need another path to match that exactly, yeah, which is the tricky part. So we now need to get our little bricks, our basic blocks, yeah. And what I'm going to do here is we're going to match all the dots that we put in. We're going to match up so it exacts. So if you put 1,000 dots in, be careful because you're going to have to do 1,000 dots. So in here, that's the place I'm going to do it. I'm going to use the bottom brick as my starting point. So I'm just going to get rid of some of these bricks. Right, let's get rid of these two. Right, let's put that brick in. That's my starting point. Yeah, and we'll get rid of the one above. We don't need those anymore. Alright, so we look at these. Now, for every dot, I'm going to line it up here on the screen. So you'll see I'm lining it up. Because this one should match up because those three are together. Yep, and then we move that those straight down. Oops, you see that I did that dot wrong, so making sure I changed it. So move that across. So they've got to line up. If they don't, and if you see my show jumping one, it's very much a similar thing. You create the blocks as a guide to where you plot things. So again, just going to put these down. Now, occasionally, if you've got buildings in the way, you can't do this. So you're going to have to put some sort of guide. Now, I left this in purpose just to show you it. But ideally, you really want to try and get your logic in before you start putting the too much building work in there. I find more building you have in there, the more chances it'll crash. I say that though, but my Operation Cinder was completely built before I started putting the logic in because I didn't know how I was going to do it. So just make sure you constantly save. Yeah. This bit's a bit tedious. Yeah, but I thought I'm going to show everything in here so you can see how I did it. And this is make sure it lines up. And I have to stress this, by the way. If you want to lower the satellite down, then you only need the one path. But because I wanted it a certain height and I wanted my blocks, it wasn't high enough. It was too high for me to stretch the objects all the way through the path, because I think you get around about 40 or 30 items here. So that's why I needed two paths, but I want the two paths to be symmetrical. Right, and this is the way to guarantee it. Now that's not lined up, so I've got to be in the middle of the box. And again, I can't do all of it there, so I'm just going to put that on there. This is as low as I can. Go a little bit lower, a little bit lower. Yeah, I can. Okay. And this is why this probably clip takes a bit longer, because I thought, do you know what? I'll show everything. And the other thing I noticed as well, by the way, is you have to find time. I've been working hard trying to pay the bills and various much, but sometimes you just have to find time just to switch off. And this is what I use Disney Infinity to do. It's my relaxation thing, and I'm not doing enough of it. So the plan here is I've got to start getting a few more clips out. So I've definitely got a couple more sets to appear after this one as well. I've already got an idea, just again based around Operation Cinder and how I put it together. But I've got a few other theories. So where I've done a particular technique, it's made me think about what you've commented on. So I'm going to show you things like this, where I've show you what the technique I did. Then I'm going to show you how to make that technique better, because I've had time to think about it and say, actually, you're right, this would look better on the screen. So I think this works. This works quite good. I still have my transporter level to distribute out at some point. And then we go. And I think you've also been quite fortunate, because I don't know if any of you have been following the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case. They had a week off, which gave me plenty of little time to watch this. So I'm intrigued to see how that goes this coming week. With all the disasters going on in the world, everybody's only interested in Amber and Johnny at the moment, which is a bit weird. I'm not going to give you my opinion, because it's all strong. But if you've been watching any of it, then there's only one opinion you should really have. But it's definitely a weird one, that. Okay. Here we go. So I've now got all my routes set up and done. Yep. So now I need to create the second path. Yep. So let's get back to my created tool. And we're going to do the next path down here. So we're going to move this down so it's lined up all the way down. And I did it on the top of the box, so in the middle. And then I just click onto here and then move it across. Now, I haven't got many objects done here, so there's hardly anything. You'll notice straight away, for some reason, the line has disappeared. And I was wondering, like, hold on, I've hardly built anything on this level. Why is my line gone? So what you can do is, if you just press undo, it should refresh it. As you'll see, I'll do that occasionally. Now, you notice I went to put that in there, and I went, hold on, I've missed a block. Yeah, I realised I missed the other block. I went, that's not right. So you press your undo, it then put the line back in for me. I went, look, it's come back. So I'm now lining that one up. That goes in the middle. Alright, let's move that across. Yep. And then the line disappeared again. So I just put the line back in. Can I have the line, please? Whether it didn't like going through a building, I don't know. But I did find that weird that the line would disappear on something that I've hardly built anything on. So just undoing it straight away, managed to refresh the line for me. So occasionally, if you want to do that, just to make sure you know it's working. Now, when you've got your path, and you'll see now the path on there, I'll just put that back in. When you've got your path, come out of it, and then we're going to go to the setting of it. We're going to change it to looped, and we're going to turn the flipping thing off. Okay, so we're going to go to properties, and we're going to turn this thing off here. Cool. Yeah, make sure it's looped. And then I can delete all the little boxes now. I don't need them. So these boxes all can now go, and they should match up perfectly. Look at that. Looks like a perfect shape, which is great. Alright, drop these across. Get rid of all these. And that's our path sort. Now we're going to do the logic with the pulse. Now the pulse, we're going to show quite a cool little technique for that, because there's no way of actually getting it to, the timings are too long, they're all in seconds, you can't do them in half a second. So I'm going to show you a way of cheating that, which I think I did once with my Kylo Ren level. Now I call it my Kylo Ren level because if you look at the title of that level, I can't say it because it basically won't get my clip promoted. I actually got my channel stopped because of the title of that level, but I kept it in anyway. Right, so what you'll see here is I need a logic gate, and I need a series of effects generators, and I'm going to use 5 in total. Okay, I'm trying to space them out, but it doesn't really matter. And then I need a little path tool. Now the path tool is quite important here, so I'm going to put this little locator for all these. So obviously locators for these parts, because that's where the pulse is going to appear. Now, although you've got 5 locators, 5 effects, you need 6 dots, including one. So that's the first one. So I'm doing it 2, and I'm keeping the pulse correct. So you'll see here 1, 2, and then another one. So you need the green one plus 5 yellow dots. Now keep the spacing the same, so then the pulse is roughly the same section on the list. Yeah, so you've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's perfect. Yeah, and I'm going to put this little option on here. I need this locator as well. Now this locator is my trigger. Okay, and it's the effect to give you the laser. I think I did how to fire a laser cannon as well. And I need 3 buttons as well. This is just to help me test it. Yeah. So this is the logic now to create the pulse beam. Now, first thing, obviously, you're going to need to locate these to each one of these items. Now, I think this is a cool effect. Now, all these effects, I think I've shown you in the past over my clips, but it's just combining them together for different elements. And it's also not a bad thing just to remind you how this one works. It's been a while since I've done something like this, and then I realised, oh, this is quite a cool way of doing it. Right, so this path tool that I've just created, this is the trigger. This is the pulse trigger that fires these off. So when the locator runs across this line, it's going to fire a pulse. Now I tried different ones, but the one I went for is the explosion, and it's the green energy explosion. Right, and it's a single entry, by the way. So just do a green energy circle. So when it runs the next one, can you do the next point? Yeah. So can you play once, and it's explosion, and it's the green energy explosion. But you do it for each one. Now that locator is going to go down that path, and as it goes down, it's like boom, 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 fire. Now, if you've watched any special effects movie when they do any explosions or bombs, they have this like line of nails, and as they roll the nail across, it sets the charges off so they can run it with the actor. And that's basically what I'm doing here. I've got this bar, and as we roll that locator through, it sets them off like a set of charges. Now, by having it like this way, you're not limited to it being a second time delay, because a second's too slow. So I can do it quite quickly, because a tenth of a second, third of a second. So if you want things that are in half seconds, you can use this path tool to trigger these things off. It's quite a cool effect, right? Now, I only need one of these, by the way, for all 4 satellites. So you don't need to do this every single time. You just do one set, and you'll see that in my second clip. Okay, so I've just turned that item off, and I'm just going to link this locator to that path. So I'm going to do that, new path connection, I'm going to link it to that group. Okay, and then what we're going to do here with this logic gate is the thing that triggers it all off. And I use one logic gate, one primary logic gate for all my little things to fire off. So when I do my testing, my button can press it, but then when I finish, I get rid of my buttons, and then I can use the logic gate to fire it through. Okay, so then on this button here, on button, can we press that, and can we input into there? Right, which is great. Now this one, when we press this button, I need to switch the thing off. So to switch the thing off, all I've got to do is just turn off the path. Yeah, just turn it off. That's it, done. The third button we'll show you later is just for a reset. But that now literally is my clever set. Now I'm going to use Fin on here. What about the 2 Fin? Right, so as you see, boom, as they go down the list. Right, but that's a bit slow, isn't it? Remember, this will be a big pulse shooting from the sky. So if we want to speed this up, the beauty of this now is that when we go into here to speed up the path, and somebody's jumped over across here, we can just increase the path length. So on this screen here, let's go to the properties of this path, and let's set the pulse not to 100, let's set it to 200, and you can change the various high on it. So did I change it to 200 or 150? I think I might have done 150. I think in my earlier test I think 200 was too soon, but you can change the setting again. So let's test it again. So let's go, press that button, boom boom. Right, that's now consistent going through. That's quite, just as one disappears. Yeah, so 150 is quite good. Yeah, so we've now got the right link going through. Okay, but we don't want it going across the ground. We want it going down. Yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do this button here. What am I doing with this button? I forgot what to do this. On this button here, I'm going to go to here. Oh, this is the point, yeah. I'm going to reset this part. So when I press that button, I'm going to do a reset and play. And the reason for that is that when you connect a locator to a path, it doesn't do anything. And this will show you the positions of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the first one. This is the top one, because it's my starting point. So new locator connection, new path connection, and I'm going to connect it to this path. And hopefully this will now prove to you why I needed two, yeah? So on this property here, I'm going to go properties of this, toy box path. I need the height of this to be quite high, so I want it along the path, and I'm going to do the height. And as you scroll up, you'll see here we were very close. So do the vertical. I'm going to go all the way up to 28. So it just shows you that we would have gone past. We're right close to the rim here. Was it 24 actually? I think I might put it 24. It was 24 on that. But on the next one, we'll do the same thing again. But you'll notice the locator hasn't changed. So I need to reset and play it. Will realign those dots. So I think I'm going to set that to 20. You've got the setting on the screen here. It just shows what I did. So push that across. Let's go. So then I think I do 20, then I do 10, then I do 0, then I do minus 12. That should be the rough height. Which works quite well. And I thought I'd go in detail and just do every bit, just to not rush it. There's no need to rush the clip. So this one now, I've done the 20s, this should be 10. Okay. So I've got, there you go. I don't know where I was going with that. That's my 10. Cool. I'm just double checking was it 10? Where am I going with that? I went negative 10, didn't I? Because I'm a numpty. See? It should be 10, I think it was the setting I got. I don't know what I've done on that screen, but I played around with the settings. And we set this up. Cool. And we go down into here, go to properties. We'll change these settings. Now you notice there I didn't have to change this because it's already at the 0 part. Toy box settings, that's that done. Right, that's going to be minus 12. So then go to properties. Again, this is all what you can test. So you can build it through, do your quick test, check it works. And the pulse is a lot easier to set up the blocks. There's less things to set up. And sometimes it's that, oh, do I have to do it? It doesn't take that long. The thought of doing it takes longer, right? Now, if I come out of here, my character, if I press my reset button, those locators will now move. So if I press those buttons there, right, this was just to do it on screen. If I now go back into my spark mode tool, and let's have a look, those dots have disappeared, and you'll see here, look at that, perfectly lined up down the list. So we now have that laser beam going down the screen. So I should be able to test it. So let's go and press the button. Thank you very much. Right. Right. And now we have the pulse going down, which is quite cool. Right, so the only thing I need now is the electric strike that's creating the little explosion, the fireball at the bottom, yeah, and the tornado. So let's grab a couple of things. So we need a couple more little tools here. Like I say, just to go over, you can change the speed of that pulse. So I did change it to 200. See, I thought it was quite quick. Let's have a look again. I wasn't happy with it. See, you can see I wanted 200. See, the 200 is a quicker pulse going down. And that's the beauty of that. You can just adjust the speed of it how you want it, which I quite like. Right, so like I said, what we need to do now is add a few other little effects. So we need the lightning bolt. So I need effects generator for the lightning bolt. Yeah, and I need effects generator for the smouldering fire. Okay, now I can reuse this bottom locator as the place. Yeah, so you'll see here new locator connection. So I'm going to use, in this case, I'm going to use it for the same spot, which is quite genius. The only problem with this particular one, it's not a dense enough tornado. The red blocks were quite better. So it moves. It had to move objects away. Nothing gets moved if it goes on that screen. Right. So when we turn this on, so we're going to trigger this one here. So new logic connection on output. Can we start these effects down here? So can we go onto here and can we play loop, because these are continuously now. So the first one, which was the fire, which is the smouldering flames. That's the nice tall flames with the smoke, which is quite a good one. Right, and then the other one, which is my lightning bolt, which is, I believe, is lightning strike 2. Yeah, so new logic connection on output. Yeah, play looped, and it's the electrical. Where are we? Come on, nearly there. And it's lightning strike 2. I use between the two. Always just I'm an arm between two, but it is lightning strike 2. Right, so they will now fire down the middle, which is brilliant. And the last thing we need now, oh, by the way, I'm just doing the other option to test it. When I would press that as a test button, can we switch those off? Otherwise the lightning bolt strike won't stop. So I'm just going to play stop loop, just for my testing purposes. When I delete that button, it's gone anyway. Okay. And then I need one more thing, is the tornado. So there's a tornado on the screen. There's like a mini one already pre-built in. So if I just get my tools back up, and if I go to my other options, it's under Creative Toys. Go to Gameplay Toys, it's there. That's that little thing there. That squiggle there is your little whirling tornado. So if I go down to there, add that again, add that to the path. Now, when I do my next clip, these objects are on a different path that are hidden out of the way, because the only downside is that when you add this tornado to the path, it's already visible on the screen, because I'm doing it all in one group. Yeah, I'm going to show you how I create those effects on another path hidden, and then when we switch them on, they move across. But let's just do it simple to start with. Right? Now, obviously, when we put it the tornado, put it along the path, and obviously the height will be -12. We'll put it flat on the ground. If you wanted to, you could stack a couple on top of each other if you wanted a little height. You know where I saw it missed me, so it was too low, so you may want it twice the height. But that has now got us our cool effect. Now, the other thing to add the little spice to it, that's the lightning bolt shooting down. Look at that. That was quite good with the effect when I'm playing that. Right, then now the thing we want to do is that as we move along the points, we want it to react with the building, so we're going to want some explosions to occur. So it looks like it's doing some damage, otherwise it's just pulsing through and nothing's happening. So what I'm going to do here is going to get a couple of effects generators, yeah, which is all good, and I need 3 locators. And this is quite straightforward. When the satellite moves around and it goes on that path, I'm just going to click onto these 3. We're going to trigger off these. Yeah, so nice and easy. Let's go back onto this. Now, I needed to show you this one first, because this shows you how to do the effects. Then I'm going to show you how I do my style with the blocks, yeah, which is a variation of this as well. And then obviously we combine the two together. And then we're going to show you how to create this mega flipping tornado. Right, so there's a point here, yeah. So as it comes across, I'm going to do a new logic connection when point reaches on path. Now, by the way, if you look what I'm doing here, it's just straight on the screen, but the pulse is such a good pace that when it hits that point, you'll notice within a second it's almost there. It really looked like when I did it, it actually hit, when the pulse went down, it blew up just at the exact point. So the effect was better than I planned. So again, point reached on path. Now obviously I'm doing set the explosion off, but I've got to still move those locators underneath those points, otherwise it defeats the object. So explosion, huge explosion. So don't forget where you put those, because one thing is you've done all the link, and then the 3 explosions are going to end up over here. So I'm probably going to do another one here. So this moves across. So I'm going to do. I thought I was going to do it. It was too close. So I thought, you know what? Not that one. I changed my mind. I moved it to the second one because it was closer to the path. Because I wanted the user to walk down the path. Again, this was a demo, so it didn't really matter where I put it. But I was still thinking, if I'm running down the path, I want it closer to the effect. Okay, and this is our effect done. So play once, explosion, huge. And there you go. And then we grab each one of those, and then we're going to make sure we remembered where we flipping out we put them. Now this one was with the building, so this was okay. So I can put this in line with the building. It's got to be that dot. Now this explosion is huge anyway, so it doesn't have to be exactly on the dot. Alright, the other one was over here. Just checking where I saw it. Grab that one. Pull that over here. Yeah, put it above the dot. Hopefully about that, and then the last and final one. So now we have, not only do we have it moving, that when we move across, you will now get explosions occurring. Now you might want to do, once the explosion's gone, to set a smoke flume up, so then there's this smoke of it as well appearing on the screen. Right, and I think the last thing I do is that when I trigger this all off, I'm going to turn on the paths. So new logic connection, on output, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this path on. And then the last one, we'll turn the top on. Now obviously save it before you then do it, because otherwise the objects will move around the path. And there we go. And switch that on. If I can grab it, and can I switch that on? So that now triggers the whole thing off. Now I've created the button for the test button, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch the things off, and I'm going to move my test buttons over and now have a bit more of a little test run to see how that explosion works. But we now have a laser tornado. Well, not a laser tornado, a laser beam hitting the ground. Let's reset that, and now let's give it a full run. So I've just moved it across, so we now have the pulse coming down, and it just looks like it hits it the right way. You watch it come down again, watch it. When the next explosion, boom, 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 just looks perfect. So I'm well happy the way that's gone. And there you go. We have our laser beam tornado, or laser beam shot. So you have to get right in close for you to get thrown away. So you might want to expand that up. So my next clip coming out in a few days' time is then going to show we combine those together, and then I'm going to show you the mega tornado. And it, by the way, mega tornado is really good. Yeah, well, I hope you like the clip, guys. Stay safe, look after yourself, and I will actually be speaking to you very shortly. Take care, and by the way, give us all your feedback. I love your feedback, and I take it on board, and I listen to what you say. So tell me about, see what you think. Do you like this cool effect? And if so, will you use this? Have you got any ideas how you're going to use it in your toy boxes? Ping them through anyway. Speak to you all soon, guys, and have a good weekend. See you later. Bye.